let's talk about Lifestyle Empire. It's all about your ingredients for your year, your month, and your week based on your goals. Like how many weeks out of the year do you want to travel? I think there was one year pre-pandemic, I traveled 81 days of the year with my family, and that was excluding business travel. I've probably done something close this year. I just haven't added it up yet. Been able to travel a lot for work and for fun with the family, etc. Still haven't done as much family travel this year as we did before for a couple other reasons. One, like we traveled more with my dad in 2019, and he's not traveling as much right now. He's 88, but he's up in Boston. So, so what do you think about what does your ideal year look like? And then you look and say, okay, what does my ideal month look like? Okay, how many long weekends a month am I traveling? I want to travel like one long weekend a month. I want to travel with my kids. And what does the week look like? And we've talked about that. For me, one of my big goals for the week is to take off at, come in, record some content, go home at noon, work out, eat lunch, and then maybe go get a massage or do a float, something like that. Okay, so that was kind of what I got from that Lifestyle Empire talk. Michel Falcon, I've never heard of this guy, but he's a badass. He owns, or he's CEO of Brasa Peruvian Kitchen. I think they're in Canada. And I think maybe in New York. I think he said he was open something in New York. They've got 3 to 5 locations, but it's still a big business. There's a couple things he talked about, like team. I'm just going to kind of drop them, not talk too much about them. He said, especially, and this is like more around hiring. So wording, like when they promoting a job, they're not talking about minimum wage. They're talking about your starting income. And he's talking about how they start people at a much higher income than industry average because they have a much lower turnover. I think he said like the average industry turnover was somewhere like 60 to 70% a year, and their turnover for their employees is down in like the teens, below 20%. They start people at a higher starting income than most. He said they also, he spends a lot of time developing the team. So as his role in leadership of the business, he spends 80% of his time with the team, 20% not 80% of his week with his business, but 80% of his time in that business as the leader, he's going to spend it with the team. 20% of his time, he's going to focus on the customers and delivery. So as the team leader, when he's working in that business, he's spending the majority of the time developing the team and getting to know the team, because the team is how he's going to deliver and grow his business and make the sales and all that. So think about that for a second. Okay, one of the coolest questions he asked was an interview question. So I just did a little video, a reel, or some content this week, and I talked about the number one question to ask in an interview when you're interviewing for a physical therapist for your cash practice. So you're going to have to go find that because I'm not going to go over that here. But he talked about one of the questions they asked on their interview, and it was, what's the indulgence that you can't live without that costs less than $20? So think about that for a second. What's the indulgence that you can't live without that costs less than $20? They asked that on an interview question. So guess what? When someone comes to work for them on the very first day, they get a little gift bag, and it contains that item. I think if it's something you can actually get, but yes, there's something like that contains that item, or a gift certificate for that item or something like that. So think about it. My immediate thing was Sour Patch Kids. It cost $2.99. I could actually live without it, but you know what? Lately, my kids got me addicted to it. So let's say I went to go work for them, which I'm not going to. There would probably be a bag of Sour Patch Kids in my welcome bag. Think about how that sets up your team for success.